All right, hi ladies, Fight Time sisters. Good Friday evening. It is Fight Like a Mama Friday. I'm gonna try to tag a few friends, and here we go. Let's see, who do we have? All right. Some of you are on and active, I can see. Okay, y'all. I've got a couple people on here. Let's get started. Y'all just start tagging away as I keep talking. So, okay. All right, so it is Friday evening, Fight Like a Mama, and I wanted to talk about something for a few days, and I thought it was going to be like a secret, to talk about this, but it's really not. I think we should discuss being triggered by our children. Because it happens when our children mess up. We get triggered as the parents, as the adults, as the mom. And the fact is, it's not a secret that our children mess up, and it's not a secret that we get upset by it. But I think the part that everybody likes to keep secret is that we get triggered by our children's mistakes. And we need to talk about it, and we need to bring it out into the open so that we can start addressing what are we going to do about that in ourselves, okay? So I want to fill y'all in on something about every human on earth, most especially our children. We mess up. They mess up. We fail. We make mistakes often. It's a defining characteristic of human nature to be flawed and make mistakes, okay? It is what separates us from God. God is perfect. He is love. He is just. He is righteous. He is all-knowing. And we are not. We are very flawed. We are very human. We are very prone to mistakes and sin, okay? So what we need to talk about in regarding mistakes and our children and us being triggered by that is, how are we going to take steps to eliminate that and stop, okay? Because ultimately what we want as moms is to be their safe place, right? So we want to respond to our children with the fruits of the Spirit, that we learn about. Those are listed in Galatians 5 and 22, 23, I think. Pretty sure. I think I have a plaque in my house somewhere that's got that on it, so I better not get that wrong. So it's definitely in Galatians chapter 5. I'm pretty sure it's 22, 23. And so the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Okay? I think I got them all. So that's how we want to react to our children. That's how we want to treat our children, is using those fruits of the Spirit as a guideline. So what should be our first step in eliminating triggers and acting with the fruits of the Spirit? Okay? Well, first of all, we need to understand what is a trigger and what does that mean, okay? So Being triggered is when you are having an inappropriately over the top emotional reaction to either a person or a situation. Okay? So I'll tell you ladies the truth. I used to be triggered by my kids' behaviors and their choices and their mistakes and shortcomings all the time, every day, multiple times a day. Okay? And then I realized something that was pretty important, and that was that it's normal. You know, it's normal to be human and to be angry or irritated or feel inconvenienced by the innumerable things that my kids are going to mess up. And what was not normal was the fact that I was constantly yelling, flying into a rage. I was just a chaotic mess. And all of that was because my children, who were not fully formed or developed, had made a mistake, an age-appropriate mistake, okay? So why was I so angry? Why did that set me off? How did that turn into a trigger for me? Well, it turns out my anger was founded in fear. Fear, okay? And it was coming out as anger. I was being triggered and it was coming out as anger. I was fearful that I was being judged. And so that was tormenting me. That fear of being judged was tormenting me. And it was manipulating me into causing more damage to my children and continuing to live out a generational curse that had been founded in fear and anger. And so, you know, what do we do about those things? Okay, I was fearful that my children's mistakes were evidence that I was a failure as a mom. And that's just not true. It's not, okay? I had to just let that go through deliverance, okay? It's important. We all need it. And when those things were happening, I had to start turning towards God. When mistakes happened, when accidents happened. And so as mamas, it is important that we do some soul searching, okay? We have to dig deep, really deep into our pasts and figure out why it is we are feeling what we are feeling. Because our ultimate goal, right, is to raise children who are seeking an intimate relationship with the Lord. And how is the best way to do that? How do we get them to want an intimate relationship with the Lord, who is somebody that we promise them will love them and protect them and comfort them and give them peace and joy and kindness and gentleness and all of these things, when we're not exemplifying any of that ourselves? You know, we're saying that God will do all these things for you, but then we're not living that out. So why would our children believe that God would do that for them when he's obviously not doing it for us? Because our actions are not showing that at all, okay? So the best way is for us to start leading by example. Exactly, Casey. We have to be the example. We have to search ourselves. We have to dig deep inside of us and identify the roots that are rotten, and we have got to cut them out and get them out, okay? Our tree will not flourish with rotten root systems. Our fruit, we will not bear fruit with rotten foundation inside of us, okay? So the best way that we can do that is identify, why do you feel the way that you are feeling? What has got you reacting to age-appropriate mistakes or human nature with an inappropriate, over-the-top emotional reaction? Is it fear? It was fear for me. Is it anxiety? That's common. Is it a set of standards that were passed down to you that maybe you don't even want to uphold anymore? Cut them out, okay? Deliverance, again, it's wonderful. It is. And so for us to exemplify God's peace and God's love and God's comfort and safety to our children in the midst of their distress and their chaos and their confusion, we have to search our souls, and we have to cut things out of our lives that are holding us back and holding them back, okay? Because we have to realize that just because we're adults, just because we're the mamas, does not mean that we're not going to fail. Because we all know that most of us are out here living on a prayer and winging it every day. Okay, we are living my favorite scientific method, and that is guess and check. Every day. That's what we're doing. We are living on a prayer and guess and check every day. So when we fail over and over and over again, what does God do to us? Does he fly into a rage and freak out and hold it against us? No. He doesn't give up on us. He doesn't fly into a rage. He doesn't do that because he knows that we're human and we fail and we make mistakes. He expected it from us. So what he does is he wades into the middle of our mess with us, saves us, and then sticks by our side through the process of growth and maturity and development. He stays in the trench with us through thick and thin, through the ups and downs. And he helps us to grow our faith so that we can become more like him, okay? Therefore, so keeping that in mind, that God does that for us, we need to in turn be there and do that for our babies the same way that he does it for us, okay? So as we consider our reactions and our interactions with our children, let's stay mindful of how God treats us through our failures, okay? So he absolutely, I need to get some water. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. My throat has been extremely dry for about a week now. Okay, so in Psalm chapter 103, and it is verses 8 through 10, okay, we have an example of how God shows us mercy every day, okay? So it says, the Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in compassion and loving kindness. He will not always strive with us, nor will he keep his anger forever. He has not dealt with us according to our sins, nor rewarded us according to our wickedness. So God does not jump down our throats and fly off the handle and rage at us when we continue to mess up. So then we need to exemplify that peace and patience and mercy and grace and compassion to our children in the middle of their mistakes, in the middle of their disasters. Okay? God does not get surprised by our shortcomings. He does not get surprised by our weaknesses. He created us. He knows we're human. He knows that this is going to be a cycle of continued guess and check with us, okay? So neither should we be with our children. We should not be surprised that they have shortcomings. We should not be surprised that they have weaknesses. We should not be surprised or taken aback that they are incapable of doing things sometimes. We should not react inappropriately and over the top when our tiny little not yet developed humans don't know how to cope and they have a meltdown. I have meltdowns, okay? You know you have meltdowns too. We all do. Life is overwhelming. Don't be surprised by it, okay? Don't be surprised by your kids being overwhelmed by life because they're little and life is big, okay? Help them shoulder it. So let's keep in mind, help me not to be offended by my kids. Casey, that is the truth. That is the truth. How can we be offended when we knew there was going to be a mistake in the future? Prepare yourself today for mistakes of tomorrow and go ahead and have an action plan in our minds of grace and mercy and compassion, right? So we have got to stay patient and we have got to stay gracious with our children the same way God has continued to stay patient and gracious with us through all of our failings, all of our shortcomings, all of our weaknesses, all of our, not even accidents, through our purposeful, at times, choices where we have failed and we have ended up in a mess. He wades right in and he saves us again over and over and over again. And then he sticks right there by our sides calmly and patiently because he's not afraid of being judged by what we did. We should not be afraid of being judged by our children's behaviors and choices and accidents and mistakes. Okay? We know that we are doing our best. And we know that through our patience and through our understanding and through our grace and our mercy with our children, that we are leading them by example, that they are going to be all right. They are going to grow up and they are going to want that intimate relationship with God because they already had such a wonderful foundation with their mom who showed them on earth the love of God, okay? So, ladies, you don't have to be triggered. You don't have to be triggered by your kids. Yes, you can be annoyed. We get it, okay? You can be a little irritated that none of the socks match. You can be inconvenienced that it takes 15 minutes too long to zip up a zipper. That's realistic. That's real life, okay? What we can't keep doing is we cannot keep flying off the handle and devolving into chaos every single time life happens, okay? We have to let go of our fears, of our angers, of our anxieties, of our irrational notions that someone's going to judge us, or maybe stop judging yourself. I had to stop judging myself, okay? So that I could stop being triggered. That was another thing. So ladies, I just want y'all to know tonight that I think y'all are doing a good job. If somebody has not told you lately, you're a good mama. Keep trying every day. Strive to be continually better. Do your best to walk out and exemplify for your children the fruits of the Spirit. And when you mess up, know that God is going to show you grace and mercy. So you keep that positive cycle going for your children, okay? When they mess up, you show them God's grace and mercy, okay? So that is what has been stirring in my stomach for a couple days. I hope that it helps somebody out. And I love y'all ladies a whole lot. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.